All right, let's get right into one of the most chilling ideas in all of science. We all know the question, if the universe is so ridiculously huge, where is everybody? Well, the dark forest theory has an answer for that, and trust me, it's not one you're going to like.
So you've probably heard of the Fermi Paradox, right? We look up at all those stars and we just assume that the silence is some kind of puzzle. We figure we're either alone or maybe the signals just haven't gotten here yet.
But what if that whole assumption is not just wrong, but dangerously naive? The dark forest theory says the silence isn't an accident. It's a choice. It's a discipline. It is the sound of an entire universe holding its breath.
Imagine this for a second. You're in a pitch black room. You know there are other people in there with you, and you know every single one of them is armed. You can't see them. You can't talk to them. So what's the safest thing you can possibly do? You stay absolutely silent. Because the first person to make a sound, the first one to light a match, they don't just reveal their position, they instantly become the first target. That, my friends, is the universe according to this theory.
But look, this isn't just some spooky campfire story. No. The dark forest theory is a serious hypothesis, and it's built on a few cold, hard, logical pillars. So let's break down the mechanics of this cosmic fear.
So, pillar number 1 is what's called the chain of suspicion. It's basically a cosmic version of the prisoner's dilemma, except the penalty for losing isn't jail time, it's total extinction. Because of the insane distances between stars, you can't have a real-time conversation. A message to a star that's even remotely close could take decades or centuries to get a reply. In that gap, you can never really build trust. You can never truly know their intentions.
And this is where the paranoia just spirals out of control. It's an infinite loop. See, I don't know if you're peaceful, you don't know if I'm peaceful, and here's the real kicker. You don't know if I think you're peaceful, and it just keeps going. Since the cost of being wrong is literally everything, the only rational safe move in this game is to shoot first.
Okay, pillar number 2, technological explosion. So you might detect a civilization that seems, I don't know, kind of primitive. No threat at all, right? But you're seeing them as they were hundreds, maybe thousands of years ago. In the time it takes for their light to even reach you, they could have jumped from inventing the wheel to building star killers. Every single neighbor is a potential future threat. There's no such thing as a safe neighbor.
And that brings us to the perfect weapon for this dark cosmic hunt. The beautiful, terrifying thing is that the laws of physics themselves provide the tool for a clean, efficient, preemptive strike. You don't need a Death Star. All you need is a very, very fast rock.
And what's really wild is that this logic, it might actually be hardwired right into our DNA. You know, in neurobiology, there's something called the DLPAG freeze response. When an animal senses a predator it can't identify, its first instinct isn't to fight or to run, it's to freeze, to become invisible. So maybe the silence of the universe is just the collective freeze response of countless species that already know the rules of the game.
So we've got the logic. Now let's get to the math. This is where the theory goes from a philosophical argument to something with terrifyingly real numbers.
For about a century now, our radio, our TV, our radar, all of it has been leaking out into space. It's created this bubble of detection around us that's about 200 light years across. Inside that bubble, roughly 15,000 star systems. We haven't been whispering into the void, people. We've been shouting at the top of our lungs in a very crowded stadium.
So what happens if somebody in that stadium doesn't like the noise we're making? Well, a single projectile, weighing just 1 kilogram, so about the size of a brick, traveling at 99% the speed of light, would hit us with the energy of 132 megatons of TNT. That is more than double the power of the Tsar Bomba, the most powerful nuclear weapon ever detonated by humanity.
So, the big question is, could we defend ourselves? The answer is absolutely not. No way. Because this RKV is traveling just a fraction behind its own light, our warning time would be catastrophically short. If a hunter was just 10 light years away, a next-door neighbor, cosmically speaking, we'd have about 36 days notice. That's it. 36 days before an extinction-level event. There's nothing we could do.
This table just puts the terrifying scale into perspective. Look at that. A 1 kilo RKV, a brick, already dwarfs our biggest bombs. Now scale that up to just 1 ton, and you have a weapon that's getting into the same league as the asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs. The laws of physics basically hand every advanced civilization a ready-made planet killer. It's cheap and it's effective.
So, if this logic is sound, what does that really mean for how life evolves in the universe? Well, it suggests the cosmos isn't empty. It's actually a graveyard, filled with the ghosts of civilizations that failed to learn the first and most important rule: be quiet.
So you really have two evolutionary strategies in the dark forest. You can be loud, you can expand, you can make yourself seen, or you can be silent, you can be cryptic, and you can just observe. According to the theory, one of these strategies leads to a short, bright, and very final existence. The other one leads to survival.
You know, even Stephen Hawking warned us against our cosmic optimism. He argued that any civilization advanced enough to actually get here would probably be looking for resources to conquer and colonize. And as our own history shows us time and time again, when a more advanced civilization meets a less advanced one, it almost never ends well for the little guy.
This is probably the best analogy for humanity's behavior right now. We are that noisy teenager blasting music, walking through a dark jungle at night. And we hear the silence and think, oh, I must be all alone out here. But the dark forest theory says that silence isn't loneliness. It's the sound of very skilled, very patient predators listening.
Okay, let's bring it all home. If the logic of the first strike is solid, if the weapons are easy to make, and if the natural instinct is to hide, then what is the true meaning of the great silence out there?
The unavoidable, bone-chilling conclusion of the dark forest theory is this: every message we broadcast into space, every probe we launch, isn't a greeting card. It's like writing down our home address, putting it in an envelope, and mailing it to every single predator in the forest. Our search for connection might actually be an invitation for total annihilation.
So the next time you look up at the night sky, don't wonder where everybody is. Wonder why they're all being so quiet. And ask yourself, as our little world keeps beaming signals out into the void, who out there, in all that darkness, is listening right now?